Hello and welcome to Live Coding with Gerph. We are continuing part of our project. So what we are doing today is continuing where we left off, pretty much, looking at the making the window manager work with the new template loading system. Oh, I haven't plugged the camera in, have I? Let's have a see. Oh, I'm really good at this, aren't I? I know what I'm doing. I'm good at this. Right, camera, MacBook camera, properties. Yeah, that's not right. That one there, please. How you doing? You got it? Yeah. Right. Take two. Yes, I need to remember to do these things. Maybe I should have a tick list of things to do before we set up. Yeah, it's all what makes the live coding a little bit more fun. You got me not knowing what I'm doing. Anyway, yeah, so we're trying to integrate that work. Where we left off last week was that it didn't work. We spent most of the time trying to get the Wimp working. That was about 2 hours, and then we spent another couple of hours or so trying to get the integration working, at which point it was crashing. It was quite nasty, and then I spent a little while off camera trying to do some debugging and trying to work out what was actually going wrong, so I could actually know what I was talking about. And I didn't manage to get it working. So what I'll do is I'll talk about some of my findings. I don't like doing that in these things, so I want to show a lot of the process, but a lot of it was trying to debug what the heck was going on inside the window manager and why I wasn't getting the right things. But in the process, I did find a number of bugs. So we've got bugs both in the assembler that I wrote and in the logic for the window manager template handling, which was quite dumb, I think, in places. There were some pretty silly mistakes in there. I'm staring at one now and going, oh dear, yes, that was very dumb. But I will work my way through them. First, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and try and load it up and make sure that things are working. So we'll go and build it. So Riscos ammo clean. Yep, we're not 64 building. This is not going to work with 64-bit. Oh, there we go. So build that, and then RAM. There we go. There's the application module built. Now we need to go and run it inside RPCMU. And last time that was what we did. So let me fire up RPCMU. No, I can't use that version because that version is a Riscos select version. So it won't help me. That is not the way we want to do these things. So close that down, exit, thank you very much. And instead, this is what I did, yes. So I did a Docker run. Yeah, so I ran the Docker version of RPCMU for Riscos 5. So we'll just get that up and running. Screen sharing. Ooh, look at that. It's remembered. All remembered. Oh. Come on. Oh, we might be flipping screens in a second. I clicked the wrong thing. Everything's gone very slow. Yeah, there we go. Give me a second. Flip things back. I'm trying to work out what's taking up all my CPU time. Yeah. It's OBS mostly. And Docker. Yeah, well, fair enough. That's not unreasonable. Yeah, all right. We'll not worry about that. It's just, it stalled quite a bit for a moment. Ooh, that's a good point. Just give me a second. Let me move this over here so that people can see what I'm doing. Yeah, that's probably not a good sign. We've got 11 gigs just used by Docker. wonder if we can free up. A lot of it's compressed, so it's not a big deal actually. Firefox is using loads of memory. Sublime, yeah, okay, fine. They're both using lots. Crash restart helper. Maybe we just go and kill that. It'll come back to life in a moment anyway. Terminal's got loads of space. That's about it really. Okay, fine. So, oh, and my backups service. Yeah, we'll just kill that. That is unnecessary at the moment. It's just a fun little indicator that I have on the menu bar that shows me whether backups are happening and what's going on. But the framework it uses is not very good, and or at least my usage of it is not very good. And every time it updates the menu bar, it goes and claims a bit more memory, and so we end up with it just leaking memory all the time, which is not very good. Anyway, that was not what we were doing. What we're going to do was we want to make it so we can load the window manager. Now, if I remember rightly, yeah, we have to exit desktop because that's the only way we can do that. Thank you very much. I don't know if anybody's seen how this actually works. So normally when you've got this is a VNC session onto a screen share onto a Docker image, a Docker container that is running RPCMU, and in RPCMU I've got a module that's running in there which watches for screen mode changed. Whenever it sees a screen mode changed, it goes and writes to a file in the filing system, the host filing system, that says there is a new screen mode, this is its size. And on the outside of the Docker of the RPCMU running, the application running, it goes and talks to, there's another process that sits there watching for this file to appear. And when it appears, it goes, ha, things have changed. Let me go and just talk to the VNC server and say, change your screen size to match the screen size that we've just used. So you end up with the screen changing every time we change mode. And it no longer, it hides a lot of the workings of the application, I think. If I could hide the title bar as well, that'd be kind of even more cool. But anyway, that's not what I'm doing. Configure no boot. We need to do that so that we get to the status where we start up without anything running. And then if we look in here, these curved corners are so annoying when you've got a window like this. It's stupid. Right, if we look in here, previously I created a file called S that was to start things up. So we need to go and do that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay. I can't easily create something now because I'm not in the desktop. Let's go start the desktop again. Maybe I should include a command line editor as well in this. No matter. Right, we're booting up. Right, all I want is edit. I want a command that is imload shared.rm32.wimp. Whoa, excuse me. Typing a little fast there. Wimp, and then fling boot so that we boot the system. Should I boot it direct? Yeah, we'll make it boot direct. That's a good idea. Right, there we go. Let's save that as the file called S, and then change its type to be a command. Make a command file. Yeah, there we go. Hang on a second. Right. Right, now we exit from here. Oh, we just reboot, don't we? We should just be able to reboot at this point. So shut down, reboot. And thank you very much. Okay, so now we want to try running it. So this will load up the module and then try booting, at which point we should get a failure. There we go, template entry not found. And that's where we were last week. So, should we have a look at where we got some problems? So, I did a bit of debugging. Sadly, it's not. It's somebody asking when I'm going to be available after my live session. So, I've got a hard deadline this week. Right, yes. It's nice to see a number of people here. Anyway, we've got 3 or 4 people here. Right, so let us have a look at what we've got. So yeah, I'll show you where I've made the mistakes. It was pretty dumb. Yeah, pretty dumb. So if you remember, we've got these C utils here. Let's make this a little bit bigger so we can actually see what's going on. So this is the VNC window, and this is this. Right, so this is the window we had here. So we did some str copies, they were good. No copy, str length, we're getting string lengths, setting memory to a particular value, all very dumb and simple. That's all we want to do with these things. Copying some memory, again, not particularly complicated. Allocating some memory, we go and call claims, we do mallocs there and things, freeze. Right, here we go, fopen. So we come in, we move the file handle into R1 because osfind takes it in R1, and then we try and call the open with these calls. We then go and say, call the osfind call. If it was successful, set the handle to 0, which is exactly the opposite of what I wanted. If it was failing, set the handle to 0. That's why it can't open the file, can't find the template entry. It couldn't open the file, which was pretty dumb. Interestingly, we didn't do anything about it when we couldn't open the file. So apparently that was a little bit of an issue there, but we'll work on this. Right, and then if we look down here, it says bget, fseek. If we look down a bit further, we've got ftell, and then we've got fread. So fread reads some data. We multiply the size by the number of items, so we get a value there. Know the stream handle. We know the destination in the right place. Total side to read. This is the operation we want, and then we go and call osargs, which is not the call we want. We want gbpb. Osargs will not do what we want it to do. And then we return success or failure as appropriate. So those were pretty dumb, and yeah, I should have spotted those, but I was writing it quite quickly and I had to find it in my debugging. Fair enough, not the end of the world. What else did we do in here to try and find what was up with things? Not a huge amount. So what we're going to do is we're going to try building that, and then we'll try it again. So let's reboot this system. Yeah, reset. Thank you very much. And we'll just rebuild the code with the fixes in. Okay, that didn't work. Let's clear everything out and then rebuild it. There we go. Yeah, that was another problem. There was a couple of times when I was rebuilding it and going, it's not built the C code. It's only gone and compiled things. And so I noticed that and went, let me check, because otherwise I'd be like rebuilding it and it not actually building things properly. So if we look down here, we've got a thing to add. I'm going to copy and paste it from my notes here. So here we go. In order to build the Wimp compat file, which is the file we're trying to build here, in the OZ directory, whatever module directory we're doing, we rely on all the C source files. So if any of those change, we'll do that. And actually, I haven't changed any C source files, so this didn't matter. So that was kind of redundant. I'd only changed an assembler file. But it's now in there, so we've got that fixed as well. Okay, with that done, let's try it now. And what we get is dum dum dum. Maybe we should turn off the DHP server. The memory reserved for relocatable modules is full, which is not very helpful. It's like, what's going on here? This is really weird. I don't quite understand. So what I was thinking was, ooh, that probably means we've returned the wrong size of buffer. We've probably returned the buffer size as being -1 or something, and so it's tried allocating -1, which is not going to work. So that was what I was thinking anyway, and I thought, okay, let's have a look in the actual C code. So we go into the C code in Wimp template here, not that, no, not the assembler version, in the actual C code. So Wimp template here, and if we have a look in here, what we do is we return the used size in R1 and the data used in the indirection buffer in R2. Fair enough. And so what we've got here is whether we're calculating the size. So we go, if the window size was read size -1, or the data size was read size, or the size size put aside for the indirection data was 0, you must be only reading the size. And during my debugging, I went, that's not right. That's actually not what the interface says. Viscos PRM URL. Actually, no. Wimp load template. This is the call here. Right. So, what it actually says here is that only R1 is less than or equal to 0 to find the template size. R2 can be anything you like, and they'll be ignored if you're reading the size. So, because they returned back on only dependent on R1. So this code is wrong. The data size is irrelevant. And that code just needs to go there. I mean, strictly, we should probably, I'll do is leave a fix me here saying we should probably check. Fix me. We should probably check whether this memory is valid, because if you start writing over 0 page, you're going to have a problem. In particular, if the length of the data is 0, that's normal. That's entirely expected for the case where there is no indirection data. And that is true for certain windows. One of those windows where it's true for is the back window, which is the one it was trying to load. So let's get rid of that code. And then we can at least have a look at that. I've got space left behind there. Oh, because I deleted not enough data. There we go. That's now finished. Right, so let's rebuild that, and then we'll see what happens. Dum, dum, dum. There we go. And if we have a look up here, we'll see that it did build the C code. It's all built the C code. Good. Back into here, and then reboot the system. Could have done that whilst I was waiting. Oh, could really do it. Oh, I can't. Yeah. I meant to fix part of this image so we can actually edit it more easily, but it's not a big deal. Right, let's do the booting. There we go. So we've loaded a template login dbox, and then we loaded another one called backwind, tried to load another one, and we still failed. We still got an error from that. So that's a bit odd. It's a little bit strange. So let me look through my notes here. Right. Okay, I've got one of them in S icon bar. So, I don't know if you remember, but when we were editing the template code, which is in Wimp C here, so if you have a look here, you've got these are the parameters that we're coming in with. R1 contains the user buffer, R2 is the free space, blah 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 blah. And you can also have an additional version where it's -1 in there. All good, that's fine. But it's lying. It is lying because actually in the SWI entry sequence, which is in O2 here, I think it's in, I'm not sure where it is. Wimp load template. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, there's Wimp load template. So I'm looking for the entry sequence for this. Here we are. Here's the entry sequence. This is where we actually call the different SWIs, and the actual jump table here. So this is the JP table, is where the jump table is. So find that. Oh no, not JP table. Right. Go back. Here we are. This is where we actually call the JP table. And what we do here is that we move R1 into user block. And actually, other parts of the code assume that it's in user block, not in R1. Which is understandable because that's the SWI entry point, but it's not obvious from the code. So the example code that we've got when we create templates, which is in this 06C, this is wrong. So this is my debug that I added in. What we actually need to do is to move user R1 from user block so that it's actually correct for the SWI call we're doing, which is very non-obvious. If you work with a Wimp a lot, then you'd probably be aware of internally within all the calls, user block contains the value of R1 as it was entered. And the reason for that is that I think that's R11 or something, and it uses it because R0 through to like 4 or 5 are generally used for SWI calls, and we do those directly, and we want to do some manipulation, so we just move it up to a higher register so we can actually always get to the thing we are working on. That's the reason. Anyway, because of that, we were operating on the wrong data and things were not working properly. So let's try this again. Build it, reboot this. And then start up with the new Wimp. And look, we get further. We get to something else. Now, the bit you can't see is that up here, or you might be able to just about see it, the cursor is there and it's flickering. That is commonly an indication that it's trying to reset the graphics context to do something, and usually something that's happening when you're working with the window manager is that it's crashed and it is trying to display an error message. But the error message it's trying to display, it can't do. And why can't it do it? It hasn't loaded the error box template that would usually appear in the middle. And so instead it's just crashing and dying like that. over and over and over again. So that's not very helpful. So what we need to do is we need to find a way to debug this and to get that information out of what's going wrong. So how do we do that? Well, annoyingly, that was where I got to, and I went, I can't work out what's going wrong. Mr. Days of Nitrex says he misses the days of computers having grey desktops. Yeah. I mean, you can always make them grey. I mean, yeah, you can always do that if you want. I've got my kittens. Oh, you can't see them. Control T? No, that's not it. How do we do that? I don't know how to expose the background on there. I'm not worried. Anyway, yeah, I have my kittens on the background, so I could make them grey. My alternative is to have them purple. So I have a special button that I can use to make the entire background go purple, so that I can do videos captured that are not customized, if you like. Just a bit dull. It also means they compress better if I'm screenshotting. Not that anybody would really care about that. Anyway, so yeah, we're crashing and I don't know why. So the next step was to try and work out what was going on. And I started doing quite a bit of debug on this. And I think the easiest thing for me to do is to sort of show you what I did for the debug. Because I don't know if it's going to be useful to people, but let's have I'll try and show you what I did. So if we have a look at Wimp template here, so we've already got some debugging at the top of the file, which tries to do printf, and we haven't got a printf implementation here, so this is not going to work. So instead, we've got to have a different implementation. So instead of just having it as debug here, if we're debugging and we're not in the assembler Wimp, okay, and then we'll have another one here that says if we're debugging and we are in the assembler Wimp. So this is all going to be very nasty, very nasty. So I'm copying and pasting the section of code that I wrote, and that'll explain what it was. So I'm going to define some new functions, osWriteC, osWrite0, and new line, so we can do some writing out to the screen. And these are defined with this special code here, __swy0. And this means when you call this function, instead just replace it with a swy call to swy0. And all the parameters are exactly as you expect. So this will only work if you are doing things with Riscos Norcroft compiler, because it's special to Norcroft, and it will only work if you are passing in numbers of swys that are less than 4 registers, well, 4 or less registers, because the APCS doesn't allow for anything else. So write C, we pass in character. Write 0, we're just passing in one string. Should be called S for string, I suppose. And new line, we don't pass anything. And then I've got a special function here that's going to write some hex values, which will just write some hex values, and I'll define that in another file in a moment. And then we define some things. Message taking no parameters, that just prints out a string, and then a new line. Okay. Message with taking a string parameter that writes out the first message, and then the string parameter, and then a new line. And then message integer, which goes and prints out the string we've supplied, and then a hex value there. Okay. And then if none of that is true, then we just go and define those to do nothing. Okay. So it's nice and easy. All right. And that then we can start using some message calls. So what we can do is we can have, here we go. If we have a look in load template, find me load template, close template, font claim, load template. So up here, what we can do is we can have, we're finding a template and pass the template name. We've got some indirected size, and we've got the window block that we want to be interested in. Okay, so that's a little bit of debug in there. We also want to put this same code into the hang on a second, it's templates file, isn't it? Yeah, templates file I put it into. So let's copy this. So all of this section here, we're going to copy it into templates. Like this. There we go. Right. So now we've got this, but instead of defining this as an extern, we'll actually define the function here. And this is the function. Here we go. Os write hex, which goes and does that. Okay. Nice and easy. Nothing too complicated in here. And we want to turn the debugging on as well, so we can actually see what's going on. So I'll turn it on in this area as well. Okay. Save that, and then I'll save that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what that turns out like. So we've only got one bit of debug in there, but I'll show you what it looks like, and we can build that and just see what we're getting out. Ooh, all right, we've got bugs. We got bugs. They're multiplying. Template name. Hang on, did I do that wrong? Load template. Oh, I put this in the wrong place. Yeah, I want to use it after we've actually assigned the values. Sorry, it should be there. There we go. I think this should work now. There we go. Right. So this will give us a little bit more debug. Let's go open our application and just see what happens. So we should get more debug out this time. There we go. A little bit more debug. And we'll see load icon bar, find template, indirection size is 0, window size is -1. So it's saying, give me the size of this icon bar, and then it's moving straight on to backdrop. And it's like, oh, that's weird. It's not actually, it's only sizing the icon bar, and it's only sizing, oh, it's not even sizing, it's actually gone on to load it. That's very odd. Wonder what it's doing there. So let's have a reset of this, and we'll have a look and see if we can put some more debug in to see what's going on. So go back to the Swise code, Swise template please, here we are. Let's put a little bit of debug in here to see what's going on. Hi Andrew, if you're just joining us, I am debugging what went wrong last week. I did a little bit of debugging in the evening, and so I'm sort of going over the process that I went through to try and find things and how I added some more debug. One of the things that I've done is I've added in some new macros here. So these are magic macros here that go and do messages with a string, and messages with an integer, and they print out what's going on. And so we can see, oh, we can't see it on that one. We can see some information about what's happening. Let me kill my sleep timer, break timer, sorry. All right, so we're getting out some debug and finding out where it's crashing inside the Wimp. So what was happening was it was trying to load it and then it was failing, which was very strange. So we're going to put in some debug down here to see what's coming out of the calls. Find my debug, and I'm largely just copying things to say what I've actually done. So if I can find that code, here we are. Yeah, so this is one bit. If we need to, if we are just finding the size, then we'll print out that we need this much space and we need this much indirection space. And if we are returning the actual data, then we'll return where the end pointer was. So I'll print out the end position there. And if we failed because we ran out of space, which is this bit here, we'll do another thing there. So failed, too big, we'll print out a nice message there. And if anything else went wrong, we'll print out a message at the very end that just says whether we were successful or whether we had an error. All right, very unexciting, but we'll just try printing those out and see whether that gives us a bit more information. Hopefully it'll tell us something. Always hoping we're getting more information out. So start it up, and here we go. Failed to DHCP. Right, the same thing happened. That's frustrating. So we did find the icon bar, got the indirected size, but it didn't print out the error or success message. Now, did we actually compile the code? Yeah, we did, and we linked it. So something odd is going on there. For anybody that's joined, the reason that we know that it's hung here is that there's a cursor flashing just up here, and that commonly means that it's reset the video context and it's going to print up an error box here to say, I failed, what's gone wrong? But printing the error box has failed, so it's crashing again, and so it's popping it back up to there, and so it ends up flickering very, very slightly. And the reason that I think that's what's going on is because we haven't loaded the error box yet, or at least if we have, it probably isn't valid. So that's what I think's going on. But the debug we just added hasn't done anything. So wonder why that is. Let us have a see if we can add some more. Reset that, and then we need to find out what went on earlier on. So if we have a look, excuse me, earlier on here, we might be able to see something different. So let's have a see. Is there any other places we can exit? We could exit here with not found. So let's put a message in here saying that we could not find template. So good message to have. And everywhere else and that must be how we've exited, because there's no other return calls in this. Either that or something else is going wrong. So let's have a see. There we go. Build the module. Thank you very much. And now run it. And could not find template. Okay, so something is going a bit screwy there. I wonder if that's earlier on something's going wrong. Let's have a see. Yes, it's definitely a lot easier doing this on the emulator than doing it on real hardware. So one of the things I tried doing was I thought, okay, let me try firing this up in Pyromaniac. And it did not. It was not happy in the slightest, because there's a number of things that it just doesn't handle right. So that's why I'm debugging it in RPCMU. It would be nice if I could build it and run it in Pyro, but I haven't been able to do that, and I didn't spend enough time with it. In the future that might improve, but right now it's just not working right, so it's not getting this far basically. And I didn't want to spend a lot of time trying to debug that code. I was going through the process of what other people might do, so that's why I'm going through it this way. All of this is trying to show like how you could do it using existing tools. Right, what was happening? So we couldn't find the template. So what's possible is maybe we haven't actually even opened the file yet. maybe the templates have not even been opened, which would be pretty bad. So how do we know this? Well, we can actually check in here to see whether we actually even had any open templates. So we could return this no template file error if we hadn't opened them. So OT there is whether we've opened a template. So let's add something in for that. That's what we passed in. If OT equals null, there isn't a template open yet. So in which case, let us return. Oh, I didn't copy that error thing. Oh, annoying, isn't it? So we return no template file. Where were we? We were down here, weren't we? Yeah, there. So we return that, and we should print out a message saying no templates open. So that'll actually tell us that things didn't work. Let's try that. No, I want to go to this and then start it up, and hopefully we'll see it couldn't open the template file because that's the only path. No templates open. Right, good. So that's why it couldn't do it, because it couldn't find them. Reset. So why weren't they open? It's very interesting, isn't it? So maybe open template failed. It's possible. So message could not open template file, and that's hopefully going to give us some message, hopefully, but let's have a see what we can do with that. So here we go. Thank you. Load it up, and we get it's a bit of a frustration, this one. Here we go. Couldn't open the template file. Right, that's interesting, isn't it? So why couldn't we open it? Surely there must be some message we can get out of this. So if we have a look down in the templates code, because we call templates open. So templates open. Right. And here it's saying failed to open file. So let us try doing that. Actually, let's do it this way. Print the message here. Templates open. Oh, not %s, sorry. Comma file name. And then in here, message failed to open. The other way that we can fail is that we can run out of memory. If I remember rightly, here we go. So we've got, here we can say message could not allocate memory. Yeah, it's frustrating that these two are now duplicating the dprintfs. That's, yeah, unless I was to build in a printf into the window manager, I wouldn't be able to do this. I mean, I should probably, that could be something I could do, but I'm not doing it right now because I'm not. I don't want to spend my time writing or copying printf routines. Right. Load it up with that error debugging in there, and what do we get? Could not open template file. That's all we got. Interesting. So it wasn't one of those failure cases. All right. Let's reset again. Must have been one of the others. Let's do it one here. Initial header check failed. Okay, that's that failure. Where else could we fail? Could not read all data, all template data. Okay. Okay, so let's do that one. Message bad template identifier length. Should check some other things, not been done. No font data, failed. Bad font data offsets. And bad font data length. Oh, tedious, tedious. Yeah, another one here, message. So I could actually just copy the same blooming message, couldn't I? There we go. Why not? Message font name for index is too long. We can do this as an integer. We can actually give it the integer I. There we go. And then this one is too short. We can add more debug if things go wrong. Go well, we find things. And then font size for index is not valid. Size for index is too long. There's the index. All right. Any more failures we can have in here? Nope. If we get to there, we are good. All right. Better way of reporting errors. That would have helped. Okay. Let's build that. Thank you. Just a little bit of support from Talia there, saying it's tedious. But we're doing okay. We're getting somewhere, and this is the nasty process. Oh, there we go. I clicked the wrong thing. Nasty process of debugging this stuff. Oh, come on. Couldn't open template. Oh, this one though, bad font data length. That's interesting, isn't it? But this one just said couldn't open file, which is a little bit more annoying. But this one, we got templates open, bad font data length. Okay. So that's something more to go on. This is more than I found out last time. So this is looking like we're getting something out. It does make me think, bad font data length. This one here. Oh dear. We're using a modulo here. So division and then a modulo. Do you think maybe that my division routine doesn't work? The one that I pinched from there. It's quite possible, isn't it? Quite possible. So let's actually just do this. So do message integer n fonts equals n fonts size. So the font table size equals font table size. This one here is going to be, let's print out all of our parameters. This is where breakpoints would be useful. Andrew Timman, and Andrew, I can't remember who it is, has done a really quite nice extension for RPCMU, which has a bunch of breakpoints, debugging things in it. And I haven't built that into this environment yet. I was going to have a go at it this week, but I've been busy with actual work things. Andrew Timmins, thank you very much, Andrew. And because it seems like it's ideal for this kind of work. And now I'm cursing myself for not doing that. Unfortunately, it would mean probably building the whole blooming thing myself. Although I probably would put it into a workflow on GitHub and make it do it itself that way. Anyway, so this is the size of template font entry T. And then it did sound very useful, but a bit fiddly to get working. Well, that's the other advantage. If I was to get it working and put it into the Docker file, I just fire up the Docker file and it'd be all ready and running. So yeah, I want to give that a whirl. Distributed binaries are always helpful in that case, but I haven't time and energy. Anybody wants to let me do this as a full-time job, that would be lovely, but there just isn't the money in it, obviously. And finally, we want to print out the modulo size, which is font table size modulo that. All right. So see if this builds to begin with, because it might not. It did. That's quite good. Lots of narrowcasts, not worrying about that. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I'm sorry, there's only one of me, I'm afraid. See, if there was more of me, it'd be even more expensive because you'd have to like feed them and house them and stuff. Right, let's see what we get out of that. Hopefully we get something more useful and it tells us what's going wrong. Right. Yeah, that looks like garbage to me. So number of fonts is 0. Number of fonts is 0. The font table size is 60. Each one of those entries is 30. So the number of fonts should have been 2. But it's also giving us a modulo size of 30 there. So this is the division routine is garbage because it's returning completely the wrong things. So let's go and have a look at our division routine. It's clearly not doing what we want it to do. Here we go. So we've got, oh dear me. Right, it's using the divrem macro. Okay. So we're taking it in divisor dividend, so top number, bottom number, and the answer is result and remainder. Is that correct? Let's have a look. So Riscos kitten header colon macros div rem. Right. Yeah, that doesn't help me. So the actual thing is RC, C is the first one, A and B. I went through this and it seemed sensible. It seemed like it was the right thing. So let's just copy this along and then we'll see what we're actually getting here. So tidy that up. There you go. All right, not a macro, and we'll just put that into the comment here so that it looks nice. And then I can at least understand what we're doing. So we don't have a CLib here. So Andrew asked, is the reason you're having to debug divide is that you can't rely on CLib? We don't have a CLib in this module because it's only the assembler code and then the functions that we provide. So we have to provide the division routine because that's the way we run. So what we've got here is just using this divrem macro. So we're going A RC, so R3 equals A divided by B, and then R0 equals the remainder of A divided by B, and this is just a temporary register. So that looks like it should be doing the right thing to me. It looks like it should be. I'm not convinced that it is because the results we were getting out were clearly rubbish. So, what do we think's going wrong here? Well, I don't know, but I don't know. R0, that's the RA, goes into R1, and then 3, which is the result, goes into R0. That looks like the right thing. Maybe I've misunderstood how UDIV works. It's quite possible. So, somewhere in here, in this window, we've got not header source, not kernel, BFP support, none of those. I don't want any of those things, so I want to duplicate this. Let's pull up the C library implementation. Maybe we just copy the C library implementation in. That might be the easiest thing to do. And of course, anybody Talia says this is a no cloning house. I don't think she could. Talia could deal with me being miserable twice as much. Also, I think it would probably drive us both potty. I probably annoy myself. Right, anybody who knows Riscos source code very well will know that the source for the C library is in riscoslib. Because always, of course, it's in riscoslib. It isn't in a directory called clib, for example. Let's not be irritated. So somewhere in, oh, I'm just going to search the thing for it. I can't be bothered. So underscore rt udiv. Yep, there's the entry point. SCL kernel S body. That looks like it's probably the one. So let's have a look at that. Unsigned divide of A2 by A1 becomes quotient in A1 and remainder in A2. And destroys A3 and IP. Oh, we can corrupt our IP, that's right, yeah. So, meh. I mean, that doesn't look like it's particularly special in that regard. Yeah, let's just pinch it. Come on, pinch, pinch, pinch. Copy this code here and replace the code we've got in here, because this isn't working, and if it isn't working, we need something else. So we haven't got divide by 0 thing, so what we'll do is for divide by 0, do divide by 0 mov A1 number 0 of A2 number 0. There we go. And exit. All right. So assuming I've done that right, this is going to have done exactly the same as the C library does for this code. We're not using UDIV because we'd like it to work on older systems. So here we go. Build it. See if that code works. Apparently it compiles, or assembles in this case. Let's have a go. So hopefully we get a little further with this. Ooh, ooh, ooh! We started to get an error box. So we still have a failure here, saying it couldn't open the file. This one, however, was successful. Why was it not successful with one and then successful with another? It's very weird, isn't it? But we have got somewhere, and not only that, it's actually put the background on it. So it's not only drawn the background, it's probably failing when it tries to draw the title bar. Maybe the title bar pointer hasn't been set up properly. That's quite reasonable. So this could not open template file is probably the reason. So I think what I'm going to do now is, this has made some progress, so I'm going to go and just commit some code. We've got to commit code in multiple places because we've made changes in multiple places. So we have a look in Riscos Wimp Templates. This is the C code here that we've got. We need to be able to know that this will work. So let's just do a debug. So there's a bunch of debug on in this. I'll leave that on for now. But let's commit that code. Right. Add some debug code for when integrated into Assembly Wimp. And the Wimp. Oops, I've overrun my line length due to the lack of printf. Hey ho. Okay, we have also fixed a bug with the entry sequence for Wimp load template failing to check for size read correctly. I wondered in the past why Acorn didn't stick a direct divide routine in zero page somewhere. Actually, that would have been a quite cool idea, wouldn't it? Because all they needed to do would be to just do a mov lr comma pc, mov pc comma number 500 or something, 512, some nice multiple that went in directly into a constant. That could have been a quite nice way of doing it, although it would have also been, because there was no memory protection on that area, a good way of easily blowing away pretty much everything. Then again, it was always easy to go and overwrite zero page, so yeah, I think that, yeah, that's a good, I never really thought of that. That actually would have been quite handy. That really would have been quite handy. I mean, same goes for multiplication as well, because multiply didn't exist on the earlier systems. They could have included a whole bunch of utility functions like that. That would have been really sensible, wouldn't it? I mean, even something like the convert to hex and convert to integer code being in that place would have been really nice. Well, yeah, each their own, I suppose. But yeah, that is definitely a thing they could have done. Yeah. So hopefully that will be still correct code. We push that now, so you'll be able to see that. If anybody's following, let me find that location. Come on. Wimp templates, this is the one. So have a look here. We'll see it starting to run. This usually takes about 16 seconds, maybe 39 seconds in some cases. Depends on the system, I suppose. Let's have a see. Still not there. You finished yet? Come on. Tell me what's wrong. Still building. Lots of debug. That's why it's taking longer. Because I turned the debug on. Lots of debug. Oh, crashy. Abort on data transfer. Interesting. So this is where we're reading the font table. Wildcard resolved to there. Processing title data, processing icon, flags 109, data abort. Interesting. And we failed doing a mem copy. Because this could be what's going wrong. This absolutely could be the failure case we're seeing. I mean, it might not be, it might be something completely different, but if it is, then we can debug it in here, in the C code. So let's have a look. So pyrodev, how do we actually run this? I don't actually know anything in this. I don't know how any of this works. So we were running the basic program at this point, weren't we? So we've got a little basic program called testing template, and it passes in -1, and 0. Ooh, I think I know what that is. So we pass in -1 to say I'm enumerating, -1 to say, and those aren't valid once we're enumerating. So I wonder if when we go into SWI template here, do we actually set, if it's reading, here we go, data equals null as well, end equals null, and we're only enumerating. There we go. So this code here would have been passing that on and trying to operate on a -1 value, I think. So I think that's what's going wrong there. Let's build that and see. Ammo -f makefile module. And then, so it's a lot easier for me to debug stuff here in the C side because we're actually not having to worry about anything else. Then I want to pyrodev. Surely I've got something that loads rm32/Wimp Templates. I got something that uses that. That will do, yeah. Come on, start up. You're taking a while to start. What's going on? All right, there we go. We've loaded the module. So now we want to do the enumerate call. So test enum template. There we go. That looks like it's working better to me. A little bit of odd output there because of the control codes in it, not 0 terminated strings, but otherwise we're doing okay. Still working. And did that fail before? What's this last bit? Buffering state failed, space needed was that, and the buffer was 0. So we were literally just enumerating it. And we got that. Okay. So I think that's working. Oh, I'm still in Pyromaniac. Can tell because I don't have any colours. Spaces. There we go. That's better. Commit -a. So fix for writing to indirected data during sizing. calculating the size. Okay, and we can push that as well. And see whether that passes. So last time it took 45 seconds to run because of all that debug. We've still got all the debug in. In fact, we've got more now because it's going to be trying to do more things. Wildcarded name. Lots of debug. Woo! There you go. I think that was the module load being built and now being tested. I think, is that enumeration? I can't tell which one that was. But we must be getting close to the end now because we're at 45 seconds. Yeah, it's run a lot longer, so I think we're working. Yeah, that looks good to me. Cool, right. So that's now working. So it possibly means that we can try the Wimp and see if the Wimp will actually work. That's not that one. Just that one there, there we go. That's why it's vitally important for you to check your code afterwards. Right, let's look at the screen share and let's do something better. Please get a bit further. No. So we've still got this could not open template. No templates open, template. And we've got an error being returned here. Okay. So still going wrong. All right, let's reset this and we'll go and commit the code where we are because we're definitely getting better. What have we done in here? Oh, fixed a lot of things, haven't we? Yeah. 3 or 4 things here. Hello ABC, I'm in the UK and we're doing some coding with assembler code, trying to get some C code integrated into some assembler, into working the two, for an operating system called RISC-OS. Welcome to the channel. I'm just live coding and just working my way through things. So we're just at the point of checkpointing things because they're crashing. But they're crashing in a better way than they used to. So what did we do? We did fix for silly bugs in integration. I think that's a good description of it. File open was always returning that it failed. Now returns failure only when we fail to open. Reading bytes from the file was calling os-args rather than os-gbpb, so was completely ineffective. Read the data properly. Division wasn't working. And what was the other one? The Wimp load template SWI entry point is being passed the wrong value for the user block pointer. In user block. Right, that describes that. So push that and people will be able to see it, and don't run it, it will not work. And we are still failing, which is frustrating, isn't it? So what we're going to do is I'm going to go and grab myself another drink because I am very thirsty. So we'll have a short break, and then I'll come back and we'll have another attack at it. I feel we're quite close, but it is genuinely dumb things that are going wrong now, I think. Integration problems between the two libraries. So yeah, hopefully we'll get a bit better. And yeah, we'll see what we can do. So 10 mins, break, back at about past. I think, yeah, past seems good. All right, see you in a bit. Oh dear. Hopefully it will be easier then. All right, break titles. Hello, back now. Right. Let's see if we can work out where we were up to. Yeah, so a little bit earlier break today because we've got to a reasonable point partway through this. So we are still crashing. And interestingly, we're getting a failure. We can't really see what's going wrong. So have a look here. It's printing some stuff out, but we don't see it, and then it clears the screen and we only see the could not open template file, not really sure what that is. So let's see if we can add some extra debug into this to see what's going on with it. So excuse me. No video feed. Not sure. Everything says it's all live here, I'm afraid. Alan, I'm Nitrex. I'm not sure what is... I'm showing now. Okay, fine, good. Glad you can see things. So yeah, we're getting a crash where it's returning that it can't open the template file. It's printing could not find template. Was that the message? Could not find template. Or was it couldn't open template? I can't remember. I've forgotten what the message was already. So this is integrating some C code into an assembler module in the operating system RISC-OS. So we're trying to work out why things are going wrong and crashing. Excuse me. Oh, my nose is all itchy. The code is integrated. It's built into the module, but it's not working, and we're getting these crashes where it's just hung, constantly generating error. And the most recent thing is could not open a template file. There's another error down here, but I think this one's probably more pertinent. So I'm going to try and find out what is actually going on with it. So let's have a see how we can do that. So it does say could not open template file. Let's reset this and see if we can find where could not open template file lives. So that's the debug in open here. So we've come out of templates and then it's done that. So I wonder why. So the only reason it would go there is if it got failed. So messages, we're printing out messages here telling us where things are going wrong. Failed to read the template file. Bad font length data there. We should be able to see all of these things, one would hope. So it's a bit strange that we're exiting without seeing any other message. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make one of these. Let's do this one. Let's create a new one. So this is going to be SWI-OX 104, or 100 plus 4. It's going to be right I4. So this is reset the VDU cursor. And we're going to put that before all of these. So OS right I4 there and here and oh, what did I just do? That was not the button to press. I press ooh, command down takes me to the end of the file. Good to know. And we'll see if that gives us. Oh, I didn't mean that. That was not the button to press. I want to run the tests. Build it. Yeah, build it. There we go. And then we'll run it and see what happens. Do we get any more useful info? Or anything at all? Oh. No. No, we don't. That's quite frustrating, really. Okay, reset again. That's still not helping us. So let's have a see if we maybe if we copy this code into the SWI's templates, it also happens here. That might help us a bit more. Maybe. Let's get the same sort of debug out everywhere. Oh, I need to get the definition of that call in there as well. Otherwise, I may be forced to do a bit more invasive editing to this to make it a bit more able to handle things. But let's have a see. So yeah, I want this here. Run that again. See if we get anything better out of this. Please. Nope, this first message is still could not open template file. Very strange. I wonder if we should get it to print out what the template file was that it was trying to do. Or log it. Let's give it a whirl. So spool, write it to it, write all the video output to a file called T, and then run the test. Right, there we go. Doing stuff. Now let's reset the system and hope that that T file has got some help in it that'll tell us what actually was going wrong. It might not, but yeah, okay, so what we got in here, yeah, it's a bit of a mess, but there's more than we had previously. Load template file, no file open. Load template file, so templates open, window templates. Load templates back window, success. So whatever that was failing. I think that's ShareFS. So I think there's something going on with that. Success. Load template, error. Load template. Oh no, that is loading the template called error. And that generated an error. It failed. Be nice to know which error number it was, so we know what actually went wrong, wouldn't it? But this is more information. We're getting a little bit better here. Although I don't see the message could not open. Can I open template file? That doesn't seem to be in there. Clear the screen. Control V. Control. What's the 14th letter of the alphabet? What's the code for turn on paging? I can't remember. I just can't remember what it is. N and O? I can't remember. 14 turns it on anyway. Right. So type T. Right. So we get. There's a bunch of garbage at the beginning, which is really quite strange. Then we do an alarm. So we're going to do set up net. Copy T into the directory shared without confirmation. Verbose. All right, copy T into the directory shared as T. Right, so we can have a look at it in here now. Look down here. We should find the file TFFD. There we go. Oh, can I reopen that as? Reopen with encoding Latin 1. Where's Latin 1? So you can't see this, it's on the other screen. Western, there we go. There we are, so that's why it's done. I don't see the message cannot open in there. This is clearly having a different effect. That's interesting. That's very interesting. I don't know why it would have a different effect. No, that's rather strange. All of these codes here are basically to go back up and delete the line that you just wrote, which is, yeah, fun. So load the back window, success. Load the back, no, sorry, size the back window, give us success. Load the back window, gave us success. Find the error template and size it, success. Get the actual data, failed. And we don't know why. So since we don't know why, I guess we need to put some debug in to say what went wrong, because the error window was not appearing. So probably we didn't have the right data in there. Maybe we overran the indirection size. Yeah, but it should be telling us, surely. Right, let's have a look at it. So when we print, no, not that file. I want the actual C file here. So do we know what the error was? Error, so we can give it an error I, there we go. I've just realized this is going to fail, isn't it? Because in here, these need to be sort of do bracket bracket while 0. Otherwise, they're going to fail to build when it's not in, when it's turned off. I think. Yeah, I think it would. Yeah, I'll probably need to copy that into the other file. Into here. Oh, that's hurting. There, like that. There we are. Right. So yeah, this is our error handling here. Read template. TEOK. Very odd. I don't know what else we can do there. Let's just print out the error numbers and we'll see what happens. Illegal types for operand at line 309. Oh, int. Cast that to an int. There we go. Okay. Right. Let's just have a look. And again, I'm going to go and write the file to disk, and we can see whether that helps us. Then run it, yeah. Oh, page mode is still on, so I can actually see things. Error number 6. Oh, I could have turned page mode on before. That would have been quite handy. So we've got error number 6 there. And then we go into here and we fail again. Okay, fair enough. Let's reset that. All right. And we might be able to see that in there, but we now know what the error code was. Error code was number 6. Code 6 is bad fonts. Okay. Font, which means that we've got fonts needed being the error returned. Okay. But fonts shouldn't be needed for the error box. The error box shouldn't care about the fonts, I didn't think. Well, let's have a see, shall we? Yeah, where does the... So we're looking for TE fonts needed. There. Font usage is 0. The units by font table. Well, we can do something with this. We can do message I, icon, make it the same. Flags. There we go. So there's the flag, the icon flags we've got. And at this point, we can say it is anti-aliased. Okay. So this is where we didn't display a font usage table, and this is where there was not enough fonts. Okay, so we probably also want to do a message to say which font, which icon we're fixing up. So that's this one here. Load icon. Number back. Icon no. And I want to do one here that says we're updating title data. We don't need to say anything other than that as a message. All right, let's give this a whirl. I feel we're getting a little closer, maybe a little bit closer, but not hugely. It's progress because we're getting some debugging out. Right. Turn on paging, and we'll spool the file as well, and then we'll run it. We might be able to see it in the logging. We might be able to just right. So what do we get out here? We got lots of loading icons. Nah, the shift was just too long, and it got multiple inputs. So let's reset that. Okay. And then we can copy T into shared.t without confirm verbosely. Already exists. Oh, forcing overwrite. Thank you. Right, so if we now have a look back at that file, what do we get? Here's the error window we're trying to load. We process the title icon and all of those, and then we do it again, and here it says is an anti-aliased icon, but it didn't say that last time. That's kind of curious, isn't it? Icon flags 2C4. C4 is not indirected. 4 is a border. C, I'm not sure, but it doesn't look like a. Actually, it's opening the icon flags twice. Why have we got icon flags being printed twice there? We should only process them once, shouldn't we? I thought we only processed each icon once. Let's go back to that code. So load icon, write icon data, then fix up if we're not enumerating. So write icon data is going to be the one that actually does the work here. Oh, we do call fix up icon twice. That's one on the title flags. Hang on. This is all the icons, and then, right, okay. So let's actually do a message here. Fix up icon font or title bar, the title, that'll do. And then down here, we can do fix up icon font for icon number, and we give it a number there. So that will give us a little bit more information. So I wonder if it's fixing up the data twice. Right icon data. Right icon data is doing this. No, I know what this is. Yeah, okay. Let's build this. This will give us more information. I think it's big. Oh, too many arguments. 743. Oh yeah, I say not enough arguments. Actually, is really the problem there. Is that, did I not read that right? Too few arguments. Yeah, I didn't read it right. Fair enough. Bum bum bum. Come on. Right. Let's build it again. Okay. I don't think that really helped, but spooling it did. So we can do that, and then we can start up. All the way to a crash. Oh, this looks better. Look, we can see fix up for there, and then fix up for there. Icon flags 2D8 is anti-aliased. It looks like that. The flags are just not correct. Are they meant to be 2D8? I'm not sure. Let's reset it. We'll have a look at the messages in a nicer environment, shall we? I could spool it in directly into that file, I suppose. T into shared.t, no confirm verbose, and forcing overwrite. Right. So yeah, here we go. Yeah, this is the one that's failing. It's trying to read it, gets to here, and then goes icon flags 2C4 is anti-aliased using font index 0, which is odd, because there should be no fonts in the error handling. So if I have a look in here, so if you look at this load template code, what we can do is we can copy that template, so we can actually try and load it in BASIC in our C code and see what happens. We'll see whether it does anything different, because it should be easier to debug in there, I hope. So let's go into the C code. Debugging absolutely is one of the worst pain points, and one of the reasons for writing it in the C first in C is because then we can try it out and see what's going on. So now knowing where it's failing, hopefully I can debug it in a better environment. We'll see, but that's the goal anyway. So what I want to do is I want to copy the templates it's trying to load, which is in run resources, Wimp Templates. So I'll call this Wimp Templates FEC, and hopefully this will give us a bit more information. We've not exhausted what we can do in the in the assembler code, but we've got an easier way of working here. So let's try that. File string equals Wimp Templates. Oops. Can't do completion there. And this is going to try and load the template. We also need to know what the template is called. So template string equals error. Error was the one we were interested in. So let's give it a whirl. All right. Alrighty. How do I do this? I do it here, don't I? So build the code. Actually, what? Yeah, build the code. Build the this one here. Yep, that's the one. We don't need to put it into WX widgets because we're not actually going to care about loading it into a window itself. And we'll try running the test. Test templates. Test load template, sorry. Right. Oops, that's not what I want to do. I want to make it bigger. Make it bigger. Ah! Huh. Yeah, those are normal. However, ooh, look at this. We've got different output here. Yeah, look, this data's coming out differently. So if I can put this, yeah, maybe I'll put it down at the bottom again. Okay, go back to where you were. Back to where you were. All right, don't go back to where you were. Right, there we go, that one there. And then make it a bit bigger. All right. So if we go back and look at the T file here, so obviously this is slightly different debugging because we've got different output styles on it, but you should be able to see what's going on here. So we've got load template error, which is what we're doing here. You look down here, finding template error, writing window data. There we go. So this is the one we're actually trying to do. Processing the title data, processing title data. Then we're loading the icons. We go through all 14 of them, 0 through to 14. Let's just check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 14. Yep, 14 icons there. Good. Then we apply the fix-ups. So we do fix-up icon 0, icon flag 17006101, icon flags 13D. That's very different. That is not the same icon flags. So that's quite interesting, isn't it? We're not getting the same data out. What do we think then? Do we think that this is probably not reading the data off the disk properly? I think that's possible. I think we may not be reading the data off the disk properly. And if that's the case, then obviously it will all break. Because I mean, look at this. We've got 13D, which could be an icon. In fact, actually, yes, this is the icon flags for the last one we loaded here at offset 218. So that's quite interesting. It's as if it hasn't updated it. Ooh. Yeah, so maybe that's the problem. Maybe we're not reading the correct data. Ooh, wonder what that means. All right, so let's go back to here and try and see. We can see what we're actually doing here. So we've got write some data into the buffers, all good. Write some data into the buffers. And here we do fix up data. And we're applying it to Win title flags. So we are applying it to the title flags there, but it looked like it was actually pointing it somewhere else. Which is curious. The window's there. Yeah. Need it if we didn't read the icon, whole block. Then we return end of file. Fail to read, fair enough. I wonder if we should just have the same sort of output here. Because if I look in this one here, so we could potentially just put another one here, so it gets the same output, and we look a bit more like we're getting the right things. So we can actually say, oops, processing icon helps if you can type flags, icon flags. Okay. Text string in the icon is that. So those are, we could also have messages for those. Message S, same message. And here we go, sprite name in the icon. That's in sprite. There we are. Any other bits that could be useful here? Indirect text, and I'll leave those. I mean, they're not terrible. Okay, so at least give us some more information on what's going wrong. But is there any way that we can know about whether we're looking at the right icon and things? Wimp icons 0. So that's where we're loading the icon data into, and then we write it into the buffer. Looks okay. We've already read the header already. Unless we wrote it to the wrong place, that would be a bit weird, but it's possible. Window title flags. Yeah, that looks like it ought to have the right data in it. Right, okay, let me drop back into here. We'll rebuild the RAM version again, and we'll test it again and see where we get. Oh dear, no. So implicit cast of pointers and non-equal. Oh, Charles star. How's that? Are you happy with that? Yeah, you're happy with that. Where are we going now? I'm going to the in here, and then I'm going to go and spool T again, and then we start the test. Okay, failed again. Does look like we've actually got something a bit more useful in here though, because we've got text strings coming out. We've got some other bits and pieces that sort of look like banner and things. They're looking okay. So let's reset that. Okay. Copy that file. Yes. T to shared.t. No confirm, verbose and force. There we go. Right. So now we look at this and we get where the errors. Here we are. Here's the errors. If you have a look back up here, we should be able to see where we were printing out the errors that we were loading. So here we go. So processing icon data 0. So title data is 13D, 13D, yeah. First icon 101. So they're all coming out okay there. All looking sensible. And then we get to fix-ups. Come on, find me fix-ups. Here we go. Fix-up icon 0, icon flags 6101. So yeah, fix up for icon 0 was giving us flags 2C4, which is just wrong. That is correct from what I remember. So with the 1 3D, this one here, that was correct. This bit here is saying icon flags 2C4, which is curious to say the least. Because it should be 1700-6101. So could we be failing to copy the data? Would that be what would be going wrong? No, that would be silly, wouldn't it? If my mem copy wasn't working, then it wouldn't have written the data to the right place. No. That would be really dumb. Really, really dumb. Mem copy. Mem set. Mem copy. Destination is where to store. Source is where we're copying from. Load from the source. Store to the destination. Subtract 1. If it's still greater than 0. If it's still greater than 0. No. If it's still plus. Oh no, if it's greater than 0 is correct. Greater than 0 is correct. If it was 0, finish. Otherwise, we've now copied 1, so we don't go back to there. Yeah, that's correct. That is just fine as a mem copy routine, I think. Surely. I mean, there's only a few ways you can get that wrong, and I'm pretty sure that's correct. Yeah, it must be correct. Read byte, store byte, read byte, store byte, read byte, store byte, decrement. Yeah. Inefficient, but should be okay. So how are we reading this here? So fix up icons, no, that's not the one I wanted. So when we're doing the fix-ups in here, if we're looking at the wrong place, then it's not going to matter, not going to work. Icon equals ampersand win to there. That's shadowing the other one, so that's okay. So we write this, which is the header. Fair enough. Right, I'm going to do a check here, just for the heck of it. Just to like put my foolish mind at ease. Okay, so here we are. Only if we haven't failed. Where is it? Lost it. Yeah. So if we haven't failed, then uint32t star n icons p equals that. Okay, then we write it message I number of icons equals win.icon count. All right. I wrote number of icons star n icons p. Okay, if these two numbers come out differently, then we know for a fact that it is not doing what we hope it would be doing, and something about buffer data is not doing the right thing. Oh, just give it an int then. Sorry, maybe I should just call it an int there. It would have been easier, wouldn't it? Oh, sorry, it's that one there, wrong line. Int star, I was looking. So, sporty, run the test. Reset. Okay. Copy T to shared.t without confirm verbose. Nope, without confirm verbose enforcing. Go back to the log file, and I've forgotten what the message was. Number of icons. Typoed. Number of icons equals 0. Wrote number of icons AO. That's not good, is it? That's not good at all. Why is that not working? What do we do in buffer write word? Buffer data. Right. Offset equals the current buffer offset. Increment it by 4. Get the address of buffer to data, offset, and write it. Only if we haven't failed. There's really limited ways in which that can go wrong. And we know it hasn't failed because we've just checked. Is the call buffer data address? Because this was also working on in the like regular command runs that we do in the C code. It's not like any different there. Maybe I've got a bug in my compiler. I mean, that's always possible. Let's have a quick look at buffer write word if we can. Can we find it? Buffer data write word. There we go. There's the function. So this is add 4 to the value and store it back. Fair enough. But keep the old value in A3. IP, which is the temporary register, contains the offset. If the offset was greater than the value of the new offset, then mark it as failed in the table, in the failed value, and then go to we failed. Otherwise, load it and check if it's failed. if it has failed, if it hasn't failed, then store the value from 10, or load the value of 10 and store it into there. So that's the base plus the offset as a word. Looks fine to me. And then return the offset that we wrote it to. Looks okay. Back to buffer data. Address. Hang on. That relative should be set to true, and the offset should be 0. That should be set to true. That should have been set to true. Oh, that is actually, I want the beginning of the buffer. So that is actually correct. So that address call was wrong. All right, I made a mistake in my debugging. That's better. Build it again. Fire it up. I'm going to put it into the shared folder this time and see whether it does any better. I don't have to keep worrying about it then. Fire it up. Okay, failed again. Okay, let's have a look at the. Oh, I've lost it. Where's T, comma 15? Did I close it? I don't know. It's there anyway. Right. The number of icons. Number of icons 0. Rote number of icons 0. Number of icons 0. Rote number of icons 0. So that is working now. That's definitely writing the right values. This hasn't flushed the buffers properly, so I'm going to need to. Yeah, this is why I was writing it to the local file and then writing it out. Yeah. Okay, we'll do that again. Spool T. Run it. Then do a reset. Okay. And then let's go and have a look at the, copy the file. Copy T to shared.t. No confirm. Verbose forcing overwrite. There we go. Right. So number of icons 7. Can you reload that, please? Is that revert file? That is the reverted file. Okay, so we've lost the end of it. But here's where we load the error anyway. It's the error one. The error one is then coming up to here and then going, I've not got the right registers. Right, okay. So my next thought is, are we writing to the right place? So when we get to here, this is the icon flags. So we can just print that. So if I do if we haven't failed, icon flags pointer is here. So we'll print out what the icon flags pointer is. icon flags are at int icon flags p. This is almost certainly going to be something really dumb, but I'm not seeing it right now. Oh, hang on, where's my fix-ups gone? This is the fix-ups here, isn't it? And the bit I want is to know what the icon flags are. So, and here we go. Icon flags are at ampersand icon to flags, but not that. Oh, ampersand, sorry. There. Cool. And we know we didn't fail as well, so this is actually redundant, but code's the same, so let's just do it. That's a curious number. Might be completely correct, but it's curious. Right, let's exit that, copy the file around again. There we go. Not that one, this one here. Right, so where are we loading the error block? This is the error one. Right. Icon number 0. Icon flags are at 20000 230 6F74. So when we do the fix up here, that's not the same address. That 6F80 is not the same place. So that means we've missed something. We've written something wrongly. We've done something odd. Not sure why. 80. So what was it? 774. I think it said, wasn't it? 6F74. We're 12 out. Why would you be 12 out? 12 is an odd number. That's like the distance to the title flag, the title block, isn't it? Where's the headers gone? So we look at the headers for the types. We've got the window data. So it is the indirect icon data. That block there is about that size. Window. So that is a block of 12. Why would we not be writing to the right place, do you think? Let's do some assertions and try and find out what we could be doing that was wrong there. So, where are we looking? So here we've got the icon data. We've written the icon data. We then write the icon count. So at this point here, ooh, offset equals offset window header size. Oh no. No, I can't be wrong with that, can I? Surely not. That would be really, really dumb. If I've got this constant wrong, it'll break. Window minus Wimp size of Wimp icon. Well, that looks right, isn't it? What is the size of Wimp icon? Is an extent, icon flags, and the data. Yeah, that's right. That is right. And it's a Wimp window, less one of those. a Wimp window, less one of those. So that's the seek in the file, and then we start writing the icon data, which is, yeah, where it should be. Okay, so right number of icons. But this is working in the other. Right, okay. We should now offset. No. First icon address. So this is where we are right now. Where we are right now is the address of the first icon, because that's where we're going to start writing it. Address of first icon. Right. And that must be the same as hang on, this is a char star. I'll do this both as char stars because it would be easier all round. Char star. I need to cast that to an int to make it work. Let's say that. Base of window. So expected address of first icon is going to be this. So this is actually Wimp window. Ampersand base of window dot icons bracket 0. So that's the first icon is going to be at that location. That's, those two should be the same. If that is not equal to that, then crash. Int star v equals int star 0. Star v equals 0. Bang. That will blow up. Okay. Or it won't work. I mean, that's also possible. 715. Legal left pointer to. Oh, that's the dot. I've got an arrow. Sorry. See, this should all have been caught earlier on. Legal left pointer to 716. Oh, yeah, I didn't. What are you complaining about there? It's like saying that's not valid. Null pointer. Yeah, I know it's a null pointer dereference. That's the whole point. I want it to crash. Okay. So, but this should all have been caught in our test code when we first wrote this. This shouldn't be any different. seems to be rolling on just fine, which is very odd. Copy T to shared.t. You confirm verbose force. Look at the log. Well, they're not the same, and it didn't crash. So I guess if that is not equal to that, then apparently that doesn't crash. All right, then that equals -1. That will crash. But the point was that that code was highlighting the fact that these addresses are different. I've got different blocks in here. This is stupid though, isn't it? This is really stupid, so this shouldn't. Right, if we go into the Wimp templates here, build this. Build the module. I mean, no, to heck with the module. The test application shouldn't have worked. Or maybe they should, I don't. But I opened the windows, didn't I? See, those are quite normal, and it's working fine. It's as if we've got some discrepancy in how this code is being assigned, which is very odd. Very, very odd. Several different ways. I thought they did, Alan. Yeah, thank you. I'm not going mad. Right, let's put the printfs in here then. Printf. We'll just print out the same things because we can. Since this one again. Right, let's drop out of there, build it again, and just confirm that it's actually working when it's run inside here. Again, this might be a compiler issue. It might be really dumb. Well, as I say, I expect it to be really dumb. All right, I missed the /n, but those addresses are coming out the same. So yeah, we're doing okay there. We've got sensible things happening. So if that's the case, maybe we can check here whether things are going to be working or not. So find out where we've actually got a discrepancy. Check that these look sensible. They all look okay. Should be forcing the spike pool, possibly, not sure. And this one is ties of 2 blocks of those. Again, not looking terrible. Okay. Let's do a similar thing to this, where we check it at this point here. Address of, oh, I don't know where we're up to. We're up to, actually, we'll do it at the title foreground here. And we'll just rename some bits here so they're not quite as specific. Address of marker equals address. This is where we are. Expected address of marker equals win title FG. Win, oh sorry, just title, just called FG. Again, just called address there. I missed one there. All right. Yeah, it's still a little bit awkward, but at least I've got something that's trying to do the right thing. Make the module and test it. I've almost certainly done something stupid. And there we go. Expect address of marker, same address. All happy. Okay. So don't worry about that. There we go. Let's try it again. So this time we're doing it with the window manager using its code, and we'll see whether we get a failure in there. So we'll see. And this ought to crash really quick. Please crash. Please crash. Oh, look at that. Right. So expected address of marker. Marker is okay, but the address of the first icon is still coming out wrong. So it's somewhere between here and here. So we do a couple of right words, and we do a right bytes, and then we do a right word. Okay. 7 of them, plus some extra flags, plus an extends, plus some extra flags. And then we do the title data. So let's do it all the way up to the title data then. This is going to be labeled as marker 2, so we know which one we're talking about. And this time we're going all the way up to, this is win title flags. So title fug becomes flags, flags, flags. Okay, that should be okay. Fire that up. So build that and then fire it up. We might be able to just run it again. No, I can't get window manager in use. Fine, reset. Okay. Right, so here we have address of marker, the first one, 40. Second marker, 48, but we expected it to be 38. Weird. So we are ahead of the marker, ahead of where we're expecting to be. Our current address is there. And expected was title flags. Oh, hang on. Oh no, this is going to be title data, sorry. Let me just check in the header. Yeah, we're meant to be at title data, sorry. Okay, I got that wrong. We're passing in the title flags, which we've already copied. Yeah, we copied up here. So this should be title data in all of this. Okay, so that, okay, that was a mess up on my part. Again, just being able to breakpoint things would be, or single step would be nice. Oh no, that's the wrong command, sorry. Ugh, getting confused. Right, reboot. So back in the day when I was doing window manager things, all of my window manager debug went to a second machine over serial or network, depending on how I was feeling. And so I could do similar things and just let it reboot and the like whilst I was working on stuff. Or sometimes just to a file and I'd pull it back, same as we're doing here. Right, that's better. Okay. So interesting, it's working on this one. Expected address of marker, blah, 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 blah. And then this time when it loads in the error one, expected address of marker 38, 38, 60, 60. And then when it gets to icons, it's coming out wrong. Address of, there's 64. Address of first icon 64. That's only 4 bytes on from there. It's not the full width. In fact, it's, I don't think that's even, that's only 16 away. The title data isn't 16 bytes, is it? It's as if this here, write icon data, hasn't written the whole block. Is that the problem? Write icon data. Oh, we can return an error there. We can return errors. If we return errors, we never write any data. That would be a problem, wouldn't it? Sorry, no, wrong file. Where was I? Here. Yeah. If we're not checking the error code in that from there, well, dear. Right, do we have an error code? Template error. No, we don't. In which case, let's give us one. Template error C. Again, why this is failing, I'm not sure. But the fact that we are failing means that there's something wrong with my testing, which is good to know. If error is not equal to TE OK, return error. Bum, bum, bum. Again, equals that. If that one there. Do we also need to do that for, yeah, okay, we've got, actually we can get rid of that and just use in here, because now we've got one globally. We might as well use that. All right, feeling a little bit more like we've got somewhere with this. Oh, missed one. Yeah, that should be set up. Oh, and we probably want to actually report an error there, say we couldn't do it. So here we go. Message I failed to write template icon data, and then the error number, which is printf. Same again. Okay. And I think we can probably do the same thing with this one down here. It's not template icon data, title icon data, I should be saying there. Able to create icon data, and we'll know which one it is because we've printed out load icon number blah. if I'm chasing a compiler bug, I will be somewhat put out. Let's reboot that. Oh no, don't exit, don't exit. Reboot. Sporty, I probably don't need to do that at the moment, but right. Failed to create title icon data, error code 1. And then we returned external error code 3. So error code 1 is in the header for templates. TE error 1 is end of file. End of file? Well, that's interesting, isn't it? That probably means that some part of my file operation code is not working properly. The thing is, you get this code right and it's just right for good. You don't care about it. But anyway, so it's in write icon data, which is not that function. It's this one here. Oh. Oh, hang on. No. Is that right? Failed to create title icon data, error code 1. Not fix up icons, this one here. What do? We do this one here. Ah, it's going the stringed indirect code. It's the bit that's actually doing that. String indirect is failing. Let's have a look at string indirect, because we can actually see what's going on with it, hopefully. Do a seek, read a byte. Did we get E off? If we did, oh no. Did I get my error conditions the wrong way round? That would be really dumb if I got the error conditions the wrong way around, wouldn't it? As I said, that it was bound to be something dumb. F get C. If V is set, -1. If carry is set, -1. Okay, let us have a look at the, so Riscos, type PRM on os bget. Come on. Undefined if C set. If this is equal to the file extent, trying to read the end of the file, then error of EOF on next is set and the call returns with the carry flag set. If the carry flag is set, -1. Okay, that's not the thing then, because that's correct. That is definitely correct. Is it possible that fgetC is actually being handled magically? It's possible. Let's have a look in the string indirect code here inside templates. String indirect. Oh no, it's one word. No, we branch off to fgetC. We don't actually have a macro thing inside there. So that looks okay. That looks fine. If it's EOF, then return EOF. Okay, well, let's have a go with it. All right, so message I, reading indirect string from file offset, and then we'll just include the offset, which is whatever that is. Oops, I put a semicolon rather than a comma there. And then here we can put message I space read byte, and then the byte. I mean, the only way it can exit is if it hits EOF there. Missing semicolon. Yep, thank you very much. You caught it before the compiler did. Thank you. Reboot, sorry. The other advantage of doing a reboot between each of these is that we do actually get to see a clean system each time. Reading indirect string from file offset, blah. Reading byte, -1. Read byte, -1. Yep, that failed. So, reading indirect string from file offset 35C. That's where it's reading from, okay? So let's go into the C code, which should be doing the same thing. Build the module, and then we'll test it. Hang on, why are you not printing out reading byte? Should have printed out lots of red bytes. Oh, I didn't comment that one out. Okay, that's fine. Let's just drop out of that and redo it again. Right. So here, if we have a look at it, we've got, oh, hang on. I'm reading a different template file. This is the template file that I'm using in Select, and I want the one that's in RISC-OS 5. I want the template file from RISC-OS 5. This is a slightly different problem. So I'd not noticed this. This was possibly done. Copy resources : $resources.wimp.templates. Oops. Yeah, templates as shared.ro5 wimp templates. Without confirm, verbose, and forcing overwrite. Yep, okay. Now copy /ro5 templates to here. Rename it's in the test. Where's the test code gone? Find the test code. Load template. So I actually want to do a slightly different one here. /ro5 wimp. If it's a different template, if the templates are failing for another odd reason, that would be. I mean, the fact it's working means that the template file must be valid, or is valid enough. Huh. They look very not wrong. Where was my failure? Find me my failure. So here we go. what we did was we were reading the template file, we're looking at the title data, reading indirect string from file offset. So it was reading the file offset 35C and then read byte FFFF. I don't print out the file address. Ooh, that's amusing. It's displayed the template icon. That's why. Right. What I want to do now is, oh gosh, I've forgotten what I'm doing. I'm trying to include the extra information in the templates here. Nope, not that one. This one. That deprint. Having multiple types of debug is stupid. The moment we discover that Viscos 5 has been shipping us slightly bought templates for years, I suspect it probably isn't, but that would be fun, wouldn't it? Reading indirect string from there to there. Right. This is clearly not working because file offset 35C is what I was had in the other file, wasn't it? So we're going to 35C and we read by FFFF. I think the seek isn't working. I think this template seek is breaking. Is it my seek code that's broken then? I mean, that would again be very dumb. I've missed one, haven't I? Not printing out the... Let's just try this. Offset equals offset. How equals I thought, oh, this is going to be easy. I won't take too long to go and debug what's going wrong with this. It'll be fine. Of course it'll be fine. Right, built it. Okay, so now we can go and fire this up. Reboot the system. I'm feeling pretty confident that it's probably broken fseek now. Template seek failed. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? How is 0? Template seek failed. And therefore it returned eoff, and we weren't checking for the error code, so we didn't fail. Right, we can probably do something about that as well. But let's have a look at our fseek code, because clearly that's broken. Oh, I was trying to be clever here, wasn't I? Right. R0 is the file pointer now in R4. Document that. R4 equals file handle. R5 equals offset. Right. If it's less than, go to here. Set pointer. Actually, that's right. Seek set is 0, and it was actually telling us how was 0. If it's less than that, 2, then go to here, set pointer. If there was an error, return -1. If it was successful, return R5, the offset. Well, that looks correct to me. That should be tell in that comment, but that's only a comment. If it was 1, then seek from current, otherwise seek from end. Add them together. Ah. Come on. What the heck? If it went wrong, just crash. Because we're getting back -1, saying failure. Actually, is that what it's saying? No. What is the definition of man fseek? Fseek. Come on, where's my return code documented? Return values. 0 if successful, -1, otherwise -1 is returned. So, okay, so I'm not implementing this right. That's 1 point. So, if it failed, -1. If it's successful, 0. That's what we should be returning, according to this. Yeah, okay, so that is one bug in there. I don't think that should affect things. I built that, yeah. Reboot. Seek was apparently successful, but it still read -1 as the byte. Reading index string and file set. Yeah. Basic. How do I get a hash key? You're not going to give me a hash key, are you? All right, fine. I can't do that. I thought I could print out the location. Is Carabiner getting in the way? Let me just temporarily quit it. I'll see if that is what's... Yes, I want to quit it. Hash. Ah, yes, Carabiner was getting in the way. I can fix that by making it recognize RPCMU. Right, so basic again. Oh, sorry. Basic. Print ext hash 1 x hash 255. Sorry, they count down, don't they? Okay. 3DA. That's a little bit further along, but it's not entirely unreasonable. Reading indirect string controls, that right. Yeah. Does that help me in the slightest? Oh no, that's the extent. Sorry, I meant to print out what the pointer was. Pointer for 255 is 34 now. 254 maybe? 3. Oops, no, that didn't come out with a 3. 34, 2, 1. Lots of files open. Yeah, don't know. Okay, so that doesn't make a lot of sense either. Ideas, anyone? Could print out the seek position here to see whether I can print out ftal and see what it is. Read pointer. Yeah, read pointer comes back with the right thing there. So I'm going to see what that comes out with. Let's try that and see whether it actually gives me the useful answer. It's all right. You can see me struggling, so. fseek, okay. Oh, let me load Carabiner again. I just need to make Carabiner ignore RPCMU so that I get my keys coming out right. It's got to be some, yes, Nitrix has said why the C code worked before, so why would it not work now? The only thing that's different is the assembler veneers, but they look right. So it must be, I mean, the C code is still working now. So it must be something to do with the new code. So new position is offset equals offset, pos, sorry. Okay, so that's going to print out a message saying it's got to be something in there, but how? I'm not sure yet. Run it. New position is offset 35C, so it is at the correct position. Seriously, is it bget? Is bget actually failing? Is that the problem? Go back to this, right. File pointer is in R0. Yeah. If there is an error, -1. If it is, what does it come out? Let's go. Let me look at it again. Oh no. It's in R1. I've been passing in the wrong file pointer. And we built it. Let's restart this file, reset. Okay. So So all of these problems have been assembler issues, that I've been using the things wrongly, or nearly all of them. There's a little bit of the interface going out wrong. Whoa! What do you think to that? Yeah, it crashed, but we got a way load further there. Template entry not found. All right. Again, this is way better than it was. Yeah, it's crashing. All right, fine. Reset. We can take some debug out now. Oh dear gosh. Right, you can go. We don't need to debug these bits because seeking is now not a problem. Where's the read string thing that we had? Because that was outputting lots of read individual characters, wasn't it? fget-c it was calling, wasn't it? Yeah, so let's just comment these out as well, because we presume that these are going to be working. I mean, I briefly saw the startup logo start appear, so pretty sure we're getting a lot better than we did. Spool even. And then boot it. Come on. Yeah. Oh, and I'd not noticed, but the error box comes up okay. And it's now saying template entry not found. Fair enough. That's not bad. Let's just, yeah, fine. We can go and look at the logs and see what it says. I realise it's after 4 now. I'm just trying to copy T to shared.t, no confirm, verbose and force overwrite. Have a look at the error box. Okay. Yes, all of these are expected addresses. Now we've got those right. Again, that was error handling. Error handling not done well. You're enjoying the extended streams. Good, I'm glad. I'll be happy to try and do it. I do need to go at about 5-ish, but I really want to get somewhere with this. Oh, let's look for the word error, I think. Willing it to work. You and me both. Right, that's the error block. So we've got a not found, didn't we? Hang on, let me spool to the end. Come on. The problem is we're now hitting an issue where, well, look at this. I mean, we've got things loading up here, but we haven't got to the point where it's not loading the templates. Maybe I need to go a bit further. It's not flushing the buffers out before we reset, and that's why it's failing. Spool T. Run it. Template entry not found. Okay. No templates open. It's failing with no templates open there. Maybe that's the error. Maybe it's no templates open. Not open or something like that. Right, copy T to shared.t, no confirm. I could put this into a command, couldn't I? It would have been easier. No matter. Right. Open. Could not open template file. Okay, you couldn't open it, but whoa, what was actually... I didn't see it. Well, give me another open. Surely there's another open in here somewhere. So that's the many messages. So template open there. File of templates, yeah. And then couldn't open templates file for icon bar. Right. There's never a call to open the template file there. Doesn't look like anyway. We're going to, oh no, wrong one. We go into here. So open template. This is open template. Oh, we never print out any message here. Okay, let's print out a message here saying open, sorry, message open. I'm going to put a new line in there because we keep seeing that message ending up in the wrong place. Open templates. File name. There's a string, and then we print out a message saying could not open template file. And we'll put another one out here saying we're closing templates. There we go. So just, again, no promises what was going to happen here, but we'll maybe get, oh no badness. Oh dear. Right. Because we've turned this into, it's from C code into assembler, so we can just link it directly into the assembler code, as it just like any other assembler. All of the symbols need to be unique between all of the files that we're producing, which includes all of the symbols for the strings that are in each of the files, and they reset at the beginning of each file. So it's possible you end up with label 17 matching up in two files and then it breaking. It's not the end of the world, but that's what's gone on there. And it built fine, so now I can go and try it out again. Salty, run it. Hang on, this has failed in a what? An error was detected from the... We've got a control 2 coming out there. Just cancel. What did I do different? I just put some debug in. That's all I did. And now it works. That is all I've done. Okay. Turn the debug off. Right, this is a category of bug I call a cockroach, because whenever you look for it, it goes away. So we'll just see whether that is true. We'll just get rid of some of the debug here and see what happens. I mean, it's very unlikely that we'll have anything actually working, but exit desktop, please. Right. Let us give it a whirl, shall we? Oh, I need to reboot as well because we've also got an unclean machine there. There's no point in spooling stuff because it should be just working, and That failed again. This time it failed with the error. Like I say, it's a cockroach. And now the icon bar won't load up. How is this? I must be getting one of my buffers wrong or something. So close. It's so close. Yep, I turned the debug on and everything was fine. Yeah, that's fine, don't worry. We're getting a BDU2 in there, so echo 3. Just turn the printer off. With the debug on, it works. With the debug on, it works. Windows are coming up. Edit runs, but when I turned the debug off, it was broken. It's good, isn't it? Oh yeah, this is the version that was on, what do I call it? So this is the Viscos Direct one. Ooh, that's pretty. What's that? International Women's Day. I would not have got Women's Day from that image. Yeah, that didn't yell Women's Day to me. I'm sorry. I did not know that. RPCMU. It's a bundle, isn't it? Easy Start bundles, yeah. So it's the Easy Start bundle that I just pull down from there because it's quite quick and easy to do. Oh, I'm sure there were lots of changes to the Window Manager, but remember the Window Manager is expected to work on all systems. It is very rare that it should be broken anywhere else. Oh, as was seen, it was tested on Select and working. Yeah, I mean, if a different distribution was created that had all of these things in it, so it was actually usable, then yeah, I'd use that. But that's not your thing. No, we don't want to. Default browser, go away. So that's kind of fun, isn't it? If we have the debug on, it works. If we don't, it doesn't. All right. Well, in any case, that's the version that I'm using because it just means downloading it directly. It's quite quick and easy to do so. I say quick and easy. It takes ages, but why then? So we've got some little bits about this. This is because it's writing to the screen. It's actually triggering the command window. We do see the command window pop up. Did I spool everything that time? it might be that we give up on this for now and then we go and have a look at it next week. I was hoping to get it all done in 1 week, but apparently we had other plans. Could not open template file. No, that's the old error message that we had there. No templates open, no templates open. All right, so let's turn off these ones. I don't know which ones would be good to turn off and what will be useful to keep. I could take these video. I don't want to take the video 4s out. They're very useful. Bum bum bum. Let's turn these ones off. Just see if we can get away with just one set of the debug parameters enabled and see if that gives us an error. Oh, immediate value is out of range. That's not the problem. It's the fact that we've got a symbol that's in the wrong place, haven't we? Oh no, it's because that, right? Oh, bother. Oh, I'll just move that out of here temporarily. Put it into this. There you go. That's terrible. Now what? Undefined symbol lost right C. What's right C's there? Oh, but yeah, okay. All right. Okay, if we don't get anything out of this, then we'll just call it a day and we'll look at it next week. And we definitely got it to the point where it does boot, it's just something's going wrong. Is there an if-def around some code that's stopping things from being set? That is possible, actually. Let's have a, I'll just spool this to see if this does anything, then we'll go and have a quick look at that and have a see. Because if that is the case, right, okay, that was successful, and debug is disabled in this file, so it must be in, if it's anything, it'll be in this one. So if def, those are the only two if defs we've got in this file, but we have got if defined. So if, so look for the word debug, that's probably a better idea, isn't it? No, those are the only instances of it. So something about the act of putting debug out is causing it to fail. I don't know what that is. I think I'm going to have to either have a look at it in my own time or come back to it next week. I will let people know where I'm up to anyway. But we have a desktop that booted and has like stuff live using the template loading that I've created. So yeah, that's a bit of a pain in the behind, but come on, let's load up a couple of more. Oh, there we go. That failed. Too big. Whoa. That was loading NetSurf, wasn't it? All right. Good. And then we can reboot. It's always good when you say, this is perfect, this is working fine, and then it immediately goes and crashes on you. That is the way things go, usually before you have to demonstrate it to somebody. Shared.t, no confirm, verbose false. Right, so at the end of this file, we should have failed too big. indirect size is 0, window 0. So we're actually we're saying this is what we need, and then we're saying we failed too big. Isn't that wrong? I don't remember what we're meant to do here. So load template. It's the end of load template. That's where we're saying the need. The only way we can do this if we're saying not enum only. Or window equals 0. It's less than or equal to 0 is when it fails. So that's a bug as well. This is good. Got another one. This is why it's so vitally important to read the documentation and implement what's in the documentation. If the documentation is wrong, then obviously we can do something about it. But if you don't start out with docs and what's actually documented to work or not, then you've got no hope. Right, run it. No crashes. Still going, no crashes, good. Let's fire up NetSurf because that was the thing that was failing. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah, that was bad. Thank you, David R. That is very cool. Sorry, David asks, he says, I've hacked Andrew Timmins' RPCMU machine inspector changes to your RPCMU Docker repo. I'll open a PR later. That's what I love to see. People doing fun things and helping me and ourselves to be able to get stuff working. That would have saved me so much work, but wonderful. Right, so that crashed, so I need to go and reboot and then copy the file around. T to shared.t. Thank you very much. That is really cool. Right, so we got some errors towards the end here. Oh, hang on, did I not? That's the error from before. Did I not copy the right thing then? Let's do a revert file on that. Maybe I didn't save it. That would be spool T. Right, start it up again. Maybe I didn't actually spool it that time. What did we fail on? So I loaded NetSurf. Oh yeah, and then NetSurf did fail, didn't it? It did exit badly. Yeah. There we go. And we got an abort on data transfer. Yeah, all right. So let's exit to the command line. Spool, close all files, copy T to shared.t. Okay, that looks better. It looks like we've actually got some. So what's actually failing this time? Huh. No, it's giving us it's a different error. Ooh. So it looks like it was checking up on its internal state and it found something wrong, which is handy. It's said to check the browser logs. Let's go now and see if we can find the browser logs. Then, so just go into the boot and just try to see if we can find the browser logs where it stores them. Thank you. Right. Does the run file tell us where the logs are? Wimp scrap www netsurf log. Alrighty. Resources. Wimp scrap. Scrap there. Scrap does possibly that one, don't know. Possibly this one, don't know. That like created just a few minutes ago. 8th of March. Yeah, that's just a few minutes ago. Log. Okay. Ooh, oh, bang, bang, bang. Yes, that went bad. Huh. Trying to create a dialogue. It crashed. Not sure why. That would be a pretty clear reason for it. If R1, if it was equa. See you later, Alan. Nice to see you. I think maybe we'll be giving up very shortly. This looks like it could be part of it. It's equal. No, it wouldn't be that. Well, I don't know. Because we do load R1 with that as well. But R12 has ended up being 49 there somehow. R12 has ended up being 49. Is it possible I'm not preserving R12 around things? That would be weird, because this is all in user space, not SVC. It could be another register I'm corrupting. It's always possible. What happens in my C calls? Not that bit, the actual place where I call it. It's in Wimp 6C. There we go. Yeah, so we do a bunch of things, then we just call C swy for that. And call C swy is a macro which is it up here? Call C swy, yeah. Push R0 to R12, pull R0 to R12. Looks okay. Doesn't look like we're doing anything odd there, because that's our register block that we're manipulating. So it should be say. Not equal to errors decoder. And errors decoder is at the end, isn't it? Just that. And then we go exit. Oh, hang on. What do we do? Sorry, I've missed that. Branch with link, yeah, so that should be fine as well. I'm not sure. That's kind of weird. Unless we're returning some odd error that it isn't handling, and it's coming up with something different. But otherwise, it's looking pretty good there. All right, so not sure what's happened there. It's, yeah, could be any of many things, I suppose. Oh. Ooh, that's running very slow. Not letting me double click on that. There we go, got it that time. Yeah, not sure. I mean, it probably is some memory corruption somewhere, but we need to find out what that is. I will call it a day there. Oh no, I won't. I need to go and commit any changes. So what we got here, diff. Yeah, that wasn't there wasn't anything really wrong with those. Yeah, so this was really only the bget that was broken. Fix for os for fgetc being implemented wrongly. Oh, and there was a fix as well for the templates code, wasn't there? There, that line there was important. So let's commit that as well. Fix for the window buffer insufficient. Let's check whether that ran its tests properly. Yeah, I'm going to have to go because I need to get myself more drink and I've got hard break at 5. Little bit frustrating that it didn't work completely, but we have got a lot further than we did before. And that didn't work. Oh, hang on. The templates code, I modified it and then I forgot to restore it back to how it was. So this code here needs to go back to being that. Git commit -a and put it back to how it was. So we're not. There we go. Really not sure why the debug being off would make it work. Right, that's good. Status here. That, yeah, just update the. And then we can also check whether -f, sorry, whether this is built properly as well on here. And it should be just fine because it shouldn't have any problems with it. We've still got debug enabled on it, so it will work, or has been working rather. And there's something odd to look at, obviously, with NetSurf. But oh, yep, sorry, that finished. I didn't notice it was complete. It was nice and fast. 16 seconds. Right. So, what have we done today? Well, annoyingly, we have fixed osfind call, an osgbpb call, an osbget call, some of the interface not being correct, and no, it wasn't seek. Seek wasn't wrong, was it? It was correct. Yeah, it's all in the interfacing code. All the interfacing code is broken. And there was a couple of other bits as well where we weren't doing things on the right locations, weren't paying attention to errors. So I can still handle those later as well. But right now, there's some oddities in it. We'll just have to look into that. I feel pretty happy that we've got somewhere with it. Just frustrated at the whole failing to get the interfaces right. I think largely it's because I'm trying to write them from memory, and my memory does suck. And even when I did look them up, I've been blank on some of them. So yeah, fair enough. Let's say David R says he's hacked in the Andrew Timmins bits into the RPCMU machine inspector into my repo. So hopefully we'll see what that will be able to give us more information next time, and it will get a lot more exciting because we'll have more tooling that will be useful to do things. Call it a day there. Thank you very much for watching. Please feel free to have a look at the code that we've got or whatever. I'm sorry it's been like a bit of a pain, this one. We will strip out much of this debug because it's littering the code base. But yeah, the general thing here is we've managed to get most of this integrated without too much hassle other than stupid assembler errors, which you probably would not make if you were using a proper C library and things. I hope it was enjoyable. I hope you've maybe learned something. Next week, either we'll just go over what I've found and the problems that I've identified, if I do stuff this evening, whatever, or we will continue debugging it and finding out what's wrong, depending on how things are going. Yeah, other than that, see you all later. Have a great weekend. Subscribe if you wish to, and I'm open for sponsorship on GitHub. Never forget it. It's always useful. Hey. See you later. Bye.